growing, but there are like other villages around which are, they don't
Hmm.
have access to what we have also. Like, especially when
Correct.
I went to Uttarakhand, there, yeah, it's beautiful and stuff, but they don't have access to the stuff that we have in Belgaum also. They were
Hmm.
struggling with getting good English training. So that's where they are still stuck at. So I think that having this YouTube streaming will be good so that they can at least go and listen to later on.
Hmm.
Okay,
So
so
this,
now we are
yeah,
live finally.
finally.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so we'll get started. I'll introduce myself and then Arun. Hello, everyone. I'm Nidhi Gani from Force Foundation of Research in Careers and Education. And I have here a very good friend of mine since like 15 years, and he is Arun Iyer. I've seen him at his worst. And today he is officer to special duty to the Minister of Coal Mines and Parliamentary Affairs. And we'll go through his journey from listening from the horse's mouth, I think will be a better idea. So welcome, Arun, and I
Thank
thank
you.
you for agreeing to do this. This is going to be definitely very beneficial for students as well as
Hmm.
parents. So
Yeah.
welcome.
Thank you.
Oh,
Hi, Nidhi.
hi. So let me get started with Arun's. Like, we generally go from the beginning, from the childhood, and then see where he has reached and what's his current role, right? And
Hmm.
yeah, so let me. So I went to St. Joseph's and he went to St. Paul's, and we used to like always, like be like, it was very annoying to look at him. Let me be honest. But then we used to like, but we used to chat online on Orkut and then Yahoo. And I really never really judged him. I used to just talk to him, chat with him, and who knew today that he would like working for the government. He was absolutely useless in my eyes back then. And but yeah, so Arun, tell us how do you see yourself in the childhood, and how are your parents like receptive to who you were?
Hmm. So my name is Arun. I am from Belgaum itself. Pure Belgaumite, even though my origins are from Kerala. So Nidhi and me go a long way, more than 15 years, 16 years, a long time. She has seen me how I was in school and until what I am right now. We have been in touch continuously. So my education, I studied in St. Paul's itself, St. Paul's High School, Belgaum, and how do I say? Until fifth or sixth standard, I was an extremely bright student. I used to get good grades. I used to be like in the top three ranks. After sixth standard, when I entered high school, things started changing because primarily I would say, if I look back now, like during those times when I looked at myself, I was like terrible. Even I will consider myself terrible. But now, if I look back at the times what I had done, I like I have very fond memories of it. So
Absolutely.
after high school, I kind of my grades started slipping. In fact, I even recollect that in the eighth standard I failed in mathematics, and it was like the first time I had failed. The ninth standard I failed in mathematics again. So that was a lesson actually for me that mathematics is not my forte. But there was nobody to tell me that. There was kind of a social pressure on me that I have to perform in mathematics. But deep inside me, I knew that mathematics was not for me. But back then, I did not know nobody to guide, nobody to speak to. We didn't have anyone to share all these things. So my
Right.
grades started slipping, and by the time it was 10th standard SSLC exams, I passed with good marks, around 78%. If I recollect, I had got 78%.
You're saying
So
78
after
is good marks.
78 was good, yeah. But well, if you see other people, they were in 80s and 90s, right? I was 78, and even during that time, my mathematics was the lowest score. I scored highest in English and social studies. Those are my
Interesting.
good. So that was my first. How do I say? If I look back now, that is where I realized that it is my strong subject. But still, there was nobody to guide. 11th standard was guided by my friends. Everyone told science jayenge,
So
science jayenge.
Arun, you
Yeah.
went even though you knew that science, you were not good at mathematics and you scored
Mhm.
very well in SST and English, what led you to still choose science as your 12th, 11th, 12th subjects and not arts or commerce?
Number one is peer pressure. All my friends were going into science, and we had this kind of bonding, right? In मेरे दोस्त लोग कहाँ जा रहे, so all were going to GS. GSS was like, it was like IIT, right?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to go to GSS. If I tell I'm going to RLS and studying arts or something like that, it would have been shameful for me. So basically, it was just not because I wanted to go; it was just because everyone was going. So it was like herd mentality.
Got it.
And that is when I decided, like my parents also decided, that I should go for science. So
Mm-hmm.
it was physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology. These were the
Right.
subjects.
Mm-hmm.
And
And for
it,
11th and 12th, when you were studying 11th and 12th,
mhm.
uh, I will like say that you barely passed, right? You barely
Yeah,
passed. Yeah,
I'm coming
and
back to
I remember us chatting, and you were like, "Yeah, I'm not going to make it." But so,
make it.
tell us, like, how was your journey from there on, and what did you feel after scoring, like, 38%, which you
Mhm.
with, in
11th,
12th we are talking about, yeah.
you're right. 11th standard was also 37%. 11th standard,
Mm-hmm.
I scored 37th, and I just scraped through 12th
Mm-hmm.
standard. And most of my marks were exempt, especially physics, chemistry, biology. That was also a red flag for me, that it is not
Mm-hmm.
suiting me, because
Right.
I realized that, okay, I had the fun part of college. Like Nidhi used to see me that time. I used to have long hair. I used to have earrings and all sorts of
Oh God.
piercings, and my parents. And I was in such a social circle that all day we only thought of fun. I had this RX 100, this motorcycle, and I used to roam around. So this was it. But when I decided to study, it was not going inside me. Like irrespective, I tried physics or chemistry or mathematics. It was not. 33% is what I scored in 11th standard, and then it came to 12th standard. 12th standard was like, it was I was almost in this kind of stage that I was mentally disturbed. I could, even if I wanted to study, I could not study, because the concepts were not going into my head. My base was weak because I was not focusing on the foundations. And then 12th standard was 38%. And I
Mm.
passed through 38%. And I think physics, I scored good in chemistry, but physics, mathematics, and biology were again exempt. I still have that report card in 12th where it says XXX, which means I was exempted.
Still an
So
improvement from 11th standard, right?
11th standard, a few percentage points, yes, but it was hell, because all my friends flunked. I was the one who passed, but I have neither
Oh.
passed or failed. I was like something like in between. I was not eligible for colleges anywhere. My CET
Mhm.
ranking, I don't even know what my CET ranking was. I
So
didn't
how did
even
your
check.
parents react, when you told them about your marks?
When they saw my marks, okay, 11th marks, I don't want to admit it, but I had like, after I scored 38%, I took a pencil and made it into 88, and then I took a Xerox copy, and then I showed it to my parents in the 11th standard that I scored 88. But they found out after 12th that it was not 88.
Amazing trick, huh? To all the students listening there and parents also, like up your
No, I
game.
would not. I would recommend them don't do it. During our time, it was good because we didn't have internet, or we didn't have such kind of technology. We just had to market, take Xerox, and show. So parents were disappointed. Mom was especially very concerned, because my elder brother is an engineer. He's a brilliant guy. Like he's extremely good in mathematics. My grandfather is extremely good in mathematics. He's a gold medalist. He was a professor in RLS. My dad is a
Wow.
gold medalist. He's a banker in mathematics. And I am here, mathematics, who is scoring 33, 30 marks. So it was, very disappointing for them that their second son is not performing up to the mark,
Black
and
sheep
it's
of
their
the
regret.
family. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was like the black sheep. Then there was no options for me. The options after 12th, what to do after 12th? If I had attempted re-exam, I know that I would have flunked. Like it would have been a cycle. I would have been continuously flunking. So I decided to explore something. My father, since he worked in the bank, he's his senior. Like he was a clerk. So an officer of the bank had come to meet him, and this officer had written the bank PO exam, the probationary officer exam. That is how he came into the banking. And he was an English graduate. He was an
Okay.
English graduate back then. So he was
Mm-hmm.
the one who advised my father that he told my dad that day that okay, I understand you are a gold medalist, but in spite of that, you are still a clerk. Whereas this guy, he had done his bachelor's in English, just English, and today he was
Mm-hmm.
a probationary officer in the bank. Like he was a bank PO, he was
Mm-hmm.
a manager then.
Right.
So my father decided that if this is an option, why not explore? And then I told that I'm okay. I'm okay. Number one, I was pushed to the wall. I had no other option. So I
Mm-hmm.
told, okay, English was my forte. I was very good in English. So
Mm-hmm.
I agreed. So then I started scouting for good universities across India. Now I did not restrict myself only in Belgaum. I thought somewhere. So there is one university in Hyderabad. It's a central university called the English and Foreign Languages University. So this
Mm-hmm.
university is exclusively for languages. Only
Mm-hmm.
people who know languages come to study there. And
Mm-hmm.
surprisingly, it is not popular in Karnataka, but all over India it was popular. Like the best of the best minds. My classmates who I later on met, they were all 98, 99% in ICSE board. And I
Wow.
was like 38% wala who had come. But I wrote the exam. We had an entrance exam. I wrote the entrance exam and I cleared it. And I
Mm-hmm.
cleared the entrance exam because 15, 20 days I was locked in my room and I was just preparing for the exams for
Right.
this. And that is how I cracked.
So see,
So
this
then my
shows
journey.
that sorry, but this shows that you, if you understand the concepts and you're a smart guy, it's not like you didn't know how to study or what you had to study. I think it was more about if you ask the fish to climb a tree, then I think the fish
Mhm.
is always going to fail. So I think
Yes,
like being in that right direction was an important step that you took at that period, right? So
absolutely.
yeah, so yeah, continue with okay, so you got in the university and so
Mhm.
what were your subjects like? What's the name of the university and what did you study for 4 years?
Okay. So I got into the English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad. It's a central university and
Mm-hmm.
it's subsidized by, it's similar to JNU, but except it is the JNU for languages.
Mm-hmm.
So my subject was English honors, and I had an option to choose a foreign language, and they were all the major UN languages. They were French, Spanish, Russian, Arabic, Chinese,
Mm-hmm.
and
You mean the
I don't know
United
another.
Nations languages, right? All
Yeah,
the
the official
languages.
languages,
Mm-hmm.
which the
Okay.
United Nations use. It is very important. I will come to that part later on because if you want to
Yeah.
apply for UN and all, you need to know one of the languages.
Right.
So among this, I had chosen Russian. Why I chose
So what
Russian
made you
was
choose
because,
Russian? Yeah.
yeah, because Goa was near and Russian tourists. So again, why I chose Russian was because of this. Because okay, I heard Russian tourists are there, and that time imagine my my thought was so small that why I chose Russian was agar kuch nahi hua, I will become guide. I will go to
Uh,
Goa and guide ban ke I will work. That was what I had planned.
No, I mean
So
that only shows that okay, you're not like trying to just fit in, but you're like okay, kuch nahi to I know that there is something that I can go and try to become, right? You were not
absolutely
trying to belittle any career or any
no,
job at that point. So that
no, no, no.
having that mindset helps a lot.
Yes, absolutely. I think I developed this mindset because again, you perform under pressure, right? When you are pushed to
Hmm.
something, when you have no other choice, then you think about all the options.
Right.
So I had
So you
chosen
chose English and Russian. Yeah. Go ahead from
English
there.
and Russian. So my bachelor's was for 3 years. 3 years I studied English and Russian languages. So my subjects were basically I was studying phonetics, poetry, English literature, world literature, Russian literature.
Wow. Hmm.
So these were my subjects. And see, totally different. I came from science background,
Hmm.
completely science background, and then suddenly I was put into English. And whereas when I noticed my classmates who were with me, they were
Hmm.
all having a keen interest in these languages. Like before, they used to love literature, they used to love poetry. So these kind of
Hmm.
people. But still, I had to compete among them. And by the end of 3 years, I was actually one of the best. I
Hmm.
came, I think, out
Hmm.
of a class of 120, I was on the top 10. Not
Wow.
that I became completely padaku, and I also had a hard time enjoying life, but I
Hmm.
realized that I'm enjoying the process of studying this time. Like
Right.
whatever I
Right.
used to read and learn, it used to stick to my head.
Right. So
And
how
I
was
had
that?
I
Sorry, go ahead.
and I had no peer pressure because all of them were doing the same thing. So it
Hmm.
was like I felt one among them. It was not like I felt something different. But then when I
Right.
came to Belcom again, it was similar. Like, hey, kya English kya pad raha hai,
Ah,
everyone knows English.
that's the. Hmm.
Yeah, I used to
So
face
I
such kind
think
of
like
taunts.
Yeah, we're like, ये English क्या पढ़ रहा है? It's so shameful, right? Like St.
Yeah,
Paul's में ही
it
पढ़ते
is.
था फिर, because you
You are
were
right.
studying.
English तो सबको आता है, क्या करेगा English पढ़ के, like this kind of things. But after learning English, is my classmates and all, they have.
Mhm.
I'll come back to that again later for job opportunities, whatever comes. So
Got
after
it.
my bachelor's, I decided that I wanted to do something other than this. During my bachelor's, I used to read newspapers, a lot of newspapers, magazines, because
Mm-hmm.
it used to come in the library. And then I was developing an interest in
Mm-hmm.
politics and world affairs, whatever is happening. So by the
Because
end
you
of,
started to read newspapers, right? I guess that
yes,
was your entry towards
newspaper,
exposure, rather.
newspapers, magazine. First time I experienced foreign classmates, right? My classmates were from foreign countries. So they were
Hmm.
from different countries, different stories, all across the world. So it
Right.
became quite fascinating for me. And plus, if you are learning a new language, it is like a new world because you will
Hmm.
read new literature, new politics, you'll understand new people. It is like
Right.
really you'll start enjoying life once you learn
The
a new
culture
language.
is different, right? That it gives you an insight into the culture of that
Yes,
country and its people and its
absolutely.
people, so maybe.
And they feel very accepted, right? It is similar for you. If you
Mhm.
see a foreigner speaking Hindi to you, you will feel good, like, oh, like he has taken effort to speak to me. So it was similar like this. When I used to speak Russian, they used to be
I
very
see.
happy.
So in
So,
your bachelor's class, what was like? How was the cohort like? How many? What was the percentage of foreigners and Indians? You would say.
so we,
What
we,
was the
we are
diversity
around,
like?
we were around, I think, 100 to 120 students, as far as I remember, because it was 2009, long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So in that, foreigners were around 50,
Mm-hmm.
50 to 60 foreigners, almost 50% were foreigners. They had all come through scholarships. Indian
Mm-hmm.
government were offering scholarships to foreigners who wanted to study English. So they
Okay,
were, and 80% of my classmates were female. Like there were only 20% who were guys, 80% were women
I
in
see.
our class. So this was the division during that time.
Okay. So
So
so once you realize that okay, you have an interest in politics, what did you like do about it? How did you go about channelizing your career further?
So after my bachelor's with my optionals in Russian, so naturally my interest was in Eurasian part of the world, which is Russia, Central Asia, all these places where
Mm-hmm.
they speak Russian, these countries. So that is
Mm-hmm.
where when I was exploring, I noticed a country called Czech Republic. Czech Republic is
Mm-hmm.
quite popular right now, but back then
Mm-hmm.
nobody knew what is Czech Republic.
Right.
So, and then when I went to their embassy page, I was seeing kya hai, what is it? Then there was a section called scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
And then that is when I noticed, and there was a scholarship called as that time. There was a scholarship called as Czech government scholarship for developing countries, and
Mm-hmm.
India was included in that. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought, why not give it a shot? Like there
Yeah.
is no harm in trying. Of course, there is a lot of you had to write an essay. It was competitive. I had to write an
Mm-hmm.
essay why I want to join and what is your interest. And then I had a short interview. And all
Mm-hmm.
this, I gave this interview. It was good. I wrote a very good essay because I had prior knowledge of those regions
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I made it through. And that is when I decided to study in their public university. It was called University of Economics in Prague,
Mm-hmm.
Czech Republic.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a master's in international and diplomatic studies.
Got it.
So this is how I got into my master's course.
Got it. So
And
let's dig a little bit in your bachelor's just to understand that, okay, when you were studying your bachelor's, Russian and English, what was going on in your mind? What was your lifestyle like? And, because you are hearing your probably friends, everyone doing engineering or medicine, and
mhm,
you were here studying languages. So how did that feel? Because you are already in a different place in Hyderabad, right? You are
mhm,
not in Belgaum. How
yes,
how are your 4 years? How would you describe that? Like uh, how you felt inside.
the first year I felt very odd, like when I joined new because I was someone who came from a small town, number one, and all of them had prior knowledge of whatever they are doing. They were all well
Mhm,
informed students. I was the student who had no other option. That is why I entered.
mhm, mhm,
So I felt the competition there itself when I entered. Like there was
mhm,
kind of pressure. But slowly and steadily, we started assimilating because we had the same thought process. Basically, it was like me joining my herd. When I
mhm,
was in science and when I was in PUC 1 and 2, it was not like that because
mhm.
my herd
Right,
was different. My herd was like, let us enjoy life and leave studies. And even if I wanted to study, it was not possible because I was unable to grasp anything. So
right.
3 years was like a breeze, and I thank my stars that I did this course because when I look back at my friends who are not so fortunate like me, because their parents were either strict or they were driven to such a place that they had to do engineering.
Engineering
There is
only.
one example of my friend whom I don't want to name, but he, after finishing my bachelor's, after finishing my master's, and after finishing 2 years of my job, he was still in the final year of engineering.
Hmm.
So there are certain examples like that, that people who are just because out of force they have done this
Yeah,
and they were
yeah,
stuck.
to like explore their true self. Right? See, English, who will let you explore English? That I think,
Correct.
yeah.
It is not,
Hit
and even if you see in Belgaum, nobody will encourage this. Like you will never
right.
find encouraging words from people who will like, oh, we're very good at studying English. करके. Nobody will tell.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, hey,
And
engineering, bada beta,
you
bada beta. I
doing,
had pleasure of bada beta, my
yeah,
brother.
yeah, and see, like you doing this 15 years back is commendable for your parents and yourself, because even today parents will not let their children just go study languages because they feel like it's futile in the future, right?
Not at all.
So
Yes.
okay, so you applied for. So, okay, one thing, let me say that after your bachelor's in English and Russian, what different careers or options were open to you? Because now you are going and studying international economics and probably
Mm-hmm.
political economy also, right? And you have no
Mm-hmm.
background of arts or humanities. So, how
Yes.
did these languages help you move into a master's, something that is so different?
Okay. Coming to your first question, if I wouldn't have gone for masters and stuck to my core subject, the
Mm-hmm.
next option, like whatever my classmates did, no, not
Mm-hmm.
everyone digressed towards politics. They continued their core
Yeah.
subjects. Many of them became professors of English in many
Mm-hmm.
universities across India. Some of them
Mm-hmm.
became journalists. They are very good journalists right now in good position. Some of them have joined Amazon. That time
Mm-hmm.
Amazon was booming. They have become
Mm-hmm.
product managers. They have become floor managers and earning very good pay, 24, 36 lakhs per
Absolutely.
annum. It is
Yeah.
like they're earning very well after some
Hmm.
years of experience. Majority of them have gone into, some of them have gone abroad and now they are teaching there. They have become teaching assistants in foreign universities, especially in
Hmm.
UK and America. There are few
Mhm.
of them whom I know.
Yeah.
Some of them have become a librarian, and
Hmm.
surprisingly even a librarian pays very well. Like if you compare to an engineering graduate,
Absolutely.
if you are a librarian in a central university, you earn a lot of money compared to even an engineer. So
Yeah. Yeah.
there was a lot of, there were such career options which I never imagined existed. And they are well paid. It is not like it is not at all well paid. It was extremely well paid, secure jobs. You
Hmm.
retire after 60, such kind of jobs. So
Mhm. Mhm.
when until and unless we get into the field, we do not know what is there again. So
Correct.
when
Correct.
I noticed after this bachelor's, you see that the world is big. It is not just engineering or medicine or that is it. There are so many other things which we can do in life.
Yeah. I mean, if you just look around yourself, only engineers and doctors are not in the world and making money, right? There are everyone else who are
Absolutely.
living coexistently living and
Yes.
making good money and have a great lifestyle.
Yes, you are absolutely right. So this is how I saw that when you, it is not like you have to always take the path which is well walked, right? If you go something which is different, there are a lot of opportunities, but it depends on whether what is your forte. Once you decide
Mm.
that okay, this is my strong subject, then you have to close your eyes and follow, and do not, you shouldn't let society judge you. Like okay, you have to do this or not do this. You yourself
Yeah.
will know by your mark sheet where you are good and where you are not good. So that way you have
Yeah.
to. Some people like painting also. Like if they like painting, they should pursue that. There are a lot of good universities in Paris,
Absolutely.
which I never knew,
Yeah,
where they teach you
yeah,
how to
because
paint.
here, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, tell us more about, okay, so when you joined political economy and international economics, feel free to like correct the subject that you were studying. And then,
Mhm.
so how was your entry to that? I know like you gave exams and probably you also wrote an essay, you said. So
Mhm.
once you reached there, what were the subjects that you were studying and how did your bachelor's help you? Or did it help you at all?
Okay, so when I reached there, academically, my bachelor's didn't help me, but shaping me
Mhm.
as a person, it helped me immensely because one, I knew the language, I knew how to behave, I understood the culture through books.
Mm.
That time I had never
Mm.
experienced. It was actually the first time I sat on an airplane in my life. I never traveled by plane, so going from New Delhi to Czech Republic
Russia.
via Russia was like, it was like a crazy experience for me. It was the first time for me in an airplane. And soon as I landed, that is foreign country, right? No relatives, nothing. I just had my
Yeah.
bags and I came out of the airport. The university had assigned a buddy. A buddy is a person who is a local who will guide you. So she had come to receive me. We went on the bus, and that is how my journey started. So the languages, this experience of dealing with foreigners or understanding different cultures through their perspective and all made me into a strong person. It was not like I used to judge them like, okay, they are eating this food or that food, or they are wearing these clothes, that clothes. That was all natural to me because it is their ecosystem.
Right, right.
And of course, people have their own prejudices. Like they think different about India during those times because there were
Yeah.
not many Indians then.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it was bittersweet, but I know my objective there was to go and study. By then, I was kind of refined. Like I knew that when I have come there, I have to study. So that is how I started my masters.
Mm-hmm.
Masters was for 2 years. 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
In that, 2 semesters was in Czech Republic. One semester I got selected to Poland. There is a very good scholarship in case people are interested to do masters in Europe. It's called Erasmus,
Mm-hmm.
ERASMUS. So it is better that if you are
Yeah.
exploring for scholarships in Europe, they should Google this
Mm.
Erasmus Mundus scholarship. So it's fully funded scholarships. So for this
Oh.
6 months, I had gone to Poland. So I
Mm-hmm.
studied in Poland for 6 months in their capital city of Warsaw. So
Mm-hmm.
2 years in Czech Republic, then one semester in Poland, and then again I came back to Czech Republic to finish my masters. My master's
Just.
subjects were all,
Yeah.
it was more Eurocentric. So
Mm-hmm.
again, I will come back to career choices. Like if you are more interested to live in Europe, understand European politics, European universities are good.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to serve your country, etc., and all, then nothing can beat studying in an Indian university, especially good Indian
Mm-hmm.
universities like JNU. And so
Right.
after I finished my masters, I scored good marks, extremely good marks in my masters, and
What
then
were your
uh,
subjects? Tell us about your subjects, the title, so that we have
my
an
subjects were
understanding.
like there were theories in international relations, then international economics, then there
Mm-hmm.
was thinkers. We had a lot of thinkers: Aristotle, Plato, and
Mm.
Woodrow Wilson, like all
Philosophy.
political thinkers. Lot of theories, and then we had my thesis was a regional integration of South Asia, like how EU is there. I was thinking about how SARC can be made
Mm-hmm.
into one. That was my thesis.
Okay.
So these were some of the subjects which I can recollect, which were
Okay.
there in my
Yeah.
masters.
Got it. Okay. So once you finished your masters, and what was next? See, you could have lived in Europe, you could have applied to many international organizations, maybe.
Hmm.
And so what made you decide? Because I remember that we were having a chat and you were like, I'm moving back to India. And I was like, why are you moving back from Poland to India? You're like already in you're in Europe. And but you're like,
Correct.
no, I want to go back to India. So I want to understand more about that calling for India.
Hmm.
And did you have stuff planned that okay, I'm going to come to India and do this? How was that journey like?
Okay, so after my masters, I had a lot of job offers in Europe itself to settle down in Europe, but somehow I didn't feel it. I believe in one thing is trusting in my gut. Sometimes there is just a gut feeling saying that you shouldn't do it, no matter whatever people say.
Right.
So all my life I am going through gut feelings only from now. So so my gut feeling was like I should do something back to my country. Like I should give it back something to my country, work for it because all the education what I have attained there should be
Hmm.
given back to my country, and but in a proper place. Like I just cannot go back to India and tell okay I want to do this. ऐसा तो नहीं चलता है.
Okay.
The problem with me was, which even to this day I repent, was I was totally unaware about civil services examinations. I did
Hmm.
not know what UPSC was that time. Had I
Hmm.
known what UPSC was, it would have been a different life for me. I would have
Hmm.
trained myself, but I didn't know it. So I was searching for opportunities in India
Hmm.
before I came, like 2 months before I came back after I finished my thesis. And there was a fellowship in New Delhi. It was called as Legislative Assistant to Member of Parliament, LAMP. It's called LAMP Fellowship by PRS. So basically, it's kind of a prestigious fellowship for Indians between the age of around 21 to 24. That was their eligibility that time.
Hmm.
A lot of students apply, like more than I think 1,000, 1,500 applications they get, and they select around 60 people. So
Hmm.
these 60 people, like 60 LAM fellows, they select us, and we are placed under one member of parliament office,
Hmm.
and that MP
Okay.
mentors us, like on how the parliament functions, what we have to
Hmm.
do in the parliament, how to intervene in the sense how
Hmm.
to raise questions, what to speak, what points to make, or what to speak in specific bills, make bills. So such kind of I think it is a very common concept in United States, but in India it was like foreign, because in India if we see politics, like I don't come from any political family, zero.
Right.
Nobody is
Yeah.
nobody is in politics. Even my farthest relatives are not in politics.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like an entry into politics for people like us, people who are talented, people who want to do something for the country, and people who have aspirations to do something. So
Right.
this is how I joined. I applied for the LAM fellowship. There also same. I had to write 2-3 essays and then an interview. I cleared
Mm-hmm.
it. As
Mm-hmm.
soon as I cleared it, I got to know that I will be made
For
a LAM fellow. Sorry.
sorry, get
Mhm.
you have to write an exam for it.
No, you have to apply.
Okay.
It's an application where you have to write an essay on why do you want to become a LAM fellow, number one, and then they give you what is the challenges in your life, etc. So once these things you give, then they will shortlist you based on your writing skills, and then they will call you for a telephonic interview or a physical interview, whatever that time.
Okay.
And then you give an interview, and then you get selected.
Okay. So
So
is
the
it like
system is that.
a okay. So once you get selected, is it like a rotational program under different MPs, or you're assigned one MP, and how many years of fellowship is this?
You are assigned one MP for a period of 11 months. For
Okay.
11 months. So usually what they do is for Southerners, like if you are from South India, they give us MPs from North India. And
Mm-hmm.
people who are from North India, they give MPs from South India, so that there is a diversity. So I
Good.
was given under MP of Meerut. So
Okay.
Meerut, and from coming from Czech Republic to Meerut was like it was again one different journey. Also, I would like to say that during my course in masters, I do internships also during my masters. During bachelor's, zero
Mm-hmm.
internships. So during
Okay.
masters was when I did my first internship. One was with the government of Bihar. So during my vacations, I had gone to Bihar for 1 month. It was called the
Oh, wow.
Integrated Child Development Services. That was
Okay.
one internship it I did. I did for a month in Bihar, and then
Mm-hmm.
I came back. And then second internship was with the embassy.
Got
So
it.
if you are going in a foreign, if you are studying in a foreign country, I don't know that back that time it was easier. That time we just had to approach the ambassador and
Mm-hmm.
ask him if there is internship opportunities. And usually, if he finds you a good person and talented, he usually used to give you internships. So it
Mm-hmm.
was the prerogative of the ambassador to give you an internship.
Oh,
Now I don't know
interesting.
how the system is, but that time it was so. If anyone is studying abroad, they can just approach the embassy and try their luck.
So in your internship in Bihar, what were you doing in that 1 month? What
So
skills did
1
you
month I was there is a World Bank funded scheme called Integrated Child Development Services. So it
learn?
focuses on the health and nutrition of children between the age
Mm-hmm.
of 0 to 6 years old. So my
Mm-hmm.
role was to do a social audit, like go and see
Mm-hmm.
whether Anganwadi centers, na basically we are funding Anganwadi centers where they give everything, food and all this. So I was posted in an Anganwadi training center. So these
Mm-hmm.
all these women who are trained, na, so how they are trained, what they are trained.
Okay.
So this
Mm-hmm.
was basically a social auditing I had to do. So
Okay.
this was my role. So I had to go on to audit on what is happening, and then I had to make a report and give it.
Got it.
So that was my
So
role.
then, okay. So after the internship, okay, once you came to LAMP, you were part of the Mirror
Mhm.
MP.
MP.
So tell us what happened. What do you do in that job role actually?
Okay. So as legislative assistant, you assist the usually MPs are generalists; they are not specialists. So a politician
Mm-hmm.
has his limit. He is excellent with the people, but he might not be good with books, or he might
Mm-hmm.
not be good with the bills. So my work was during that time was whenever there were bills in the parliament. So I had to read the bills used to come in lot of pages, 100, 120 pages. I used to make it in 1, 2 pages and
Mm-hmm.
brief the MP on what exactly the bill is, what is happening, and then I used to give him bullet points on the news, the current news, which is specific to him or related to him. So I used
Mm-hmm.
to make briefings of news. Then we had to raise parliamentary interventions, such as questions. If you have to
Mm-hmm.
raise questions on what is happening in this department, that department, it was my role. I had to make
Okay.
him questions and give him, and I had to make him supplementary questions in case they give an answer. What more
Mm-hmm.
can I ask on that? So
Okay.
supplementary questions. Also, we had to handle letters, basically
Mm-hmm.
all the letters which we used to write to ministers and all, because he was MP that time. So whatever letters we had to write to ministers and all, I used to draft and give it to him. He just used to sign, and that
Okay.
was it. So my role was completely academic. So it is more
Mm-hmm.
of academia and politics. It's not
Got it.
politics like going in the streets, but back end job
Mm-hmm. Got
to
it.
help
Yeah.
in parliament. So
Okay.
that was my role.
So from there on, then you went on to work for Prahlad Joshi, right? Who is now
No,
the
yes. After that, what happened is during my graduation,
Mhm.
Prahlad Joshi that time was chairman of the standing committee. of
Okay.
petroleum and natural gas. So the Parliament has departmental related parliamentary committees. I would recommend my viewers, whoever are watching, that they should go and visit the Parliament of India website and see what exactly happens in the Parliament. It's very
Mm.
useful. I think everyone should know about it. It will
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
good. So there is a departmental. So he was the chairman of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Committee that time, as well as he was BJP state president Karnataka during that time.
Okay.
So he had come during our graduation of this LAM fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon
Oh,
as we were graduation, that time I had met him. So that time
okay.
he told me, he started interacting with me and he told me, "Oh, you are from Karnataka." I was like, "Yes." And that
Mm-hmm.
is when he asked me that, "Would you be interested in joining my office? Because I would like someone who is from Karnataka, number one, and someone who is well aware of Parliament, how it functions, so that they will be of assistance. Plus committee work. Committee work was something which I was totally unaware of that time."
Mm-hmm.
So that is how I joined the Parliament with him, and then I was as a senior private secretary. That is the designation they gave me. Senior
Okay.
private secretary to the chairman was my role.
Okay.
So
So what do you do in that role?
in that role as chairman, we have 32 MPs as members across all
Mm-hmm.
political parties. So we
Mm-hmm.
debate on the petroleum policies, like whatever policies are going to, uh, whatever we are planning to get in the parliament, we discuss
Yeah.
and deliberate on them from both
Okay.
sides of the parties, because the members
Mm-hmm.
are mixed. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and we used to focus on the functioning of oil companies. We had all
Mm-hmm.
ONGC, IOCL, BPCL,
Yeah.
HPCL. Yale.
Mm-hmm.
So all these companies, we used to audit them, we used to call them for questions. We used to find out what is their targets. That time Ujjwala scheme was launched, providing free gas connections and cylinders to poor people. So it
Okay.
was kind of a very big thing which we were completely focused on what to
Mm-hmm.
do during
Okay.
2015 to 19,
Mm-hmm.
during this period. So
Okay.
our and we used to write reports. We used to write reports which was submitted to the government. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, the committee writes reports and it submits to the ministry, because committee is the legislative part of the the polity system, and we submit it to the ministry. Ministry is the executive part.
Got
So
it.
we recommend, they implement. We recommend, they implement. Now they implement or not is up to them, but our work
To
is to
them,
give
but
them
there's that
recommendations.
recommendation. I
Yeah,
see.
so we give them
That's
recommendations,
interesting. Yeah.
and
Okay.
so these recommendations we used to write. Like I used to assist to help him. Most of the work I was only doing that time,
Mm-hmm.
and we used to submit it to the ministry.
Got it.
So this was my role that time.
So how do you feel like, okay, what was the work life balance like? Were you under a lot of pressure, or this is something that you felt like, okay, this is something I'm meant to do? Did it
Mhm.
meet your expectations of working for the government?
Yeah, in legislative side, it was more easier because it was all theoretical. It was
Hmm.
like still I am living in utopian society, right? It was me. I had to only recommend, right? I was not the one who was implementing. So
Hmm.
reading and understanding my way through academia was totally different. Oh, we can do this, we can do that. So a lot of recommendations I have sent.
Okay.
Only thing I knew that this was utopian because after 2019 we came there. So
Huh.
Prahlad Joshi became the minister for coal mines and parliamentary affairs, and I became his officer on special duty to the minister for
Mhm.
coal. So now it is like I am getting recommendations, right, to implement.
Yeah.
Now it is, the role has become opposite. So that is why I'm saying that the ideas are utopian, because now if they tell me to implement, like whatever recommendations I'm getting from the coal and mine sector, it is like ridiculous, because I know the ground reality is what is happening. So
Okay.
this is
Okay.
what I learned. Like government is big. It's like too huge. We are just like one small cog in the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
if we compare, there is too much happening in the system every day,
Right.
and it's very dynamic. You never get bored. You never get
Mm.
bored because it is not a desk job. It is not like me sitting before the computer and doing anymore. It's like more of interacting with people, interacting with industrialists,
Mm.
interacting with the who's who, and then having meetings, understanding meetings, making policies, implementing
Right.
policies,
Mm-hmm.
having
Mm-hmm.
success, failure. Lot of issues come
Lot
into
of
play
stuff.
when we are doing
And
this
every
kind
day
of
is
job.
different. Every day is
Hmm.
a different job. So how
Every day.
got it? So tell us more, right? So I'm sure that you must have met Adanis and Jindas and all these like industrialists which we have only heard of. So how was
Yes.
meeting them? What was that experience like?
Meeting them was completely life-changing experience, I would say, because sometimes what I feel is that whatever we have read, like all these years, whatever I have read is of no use when I meet these people, because of course they
Mm-hmm.
are men of experience. They have stood up on their own feet, but the way they speak, the way they are practical is something which we will gain only out of experience. There is no other shortcut for it. So when I meet these people, when I used to speak, I met all of them, all of the big industrialists, right from
Yeah.
Anil Agarwal to Gautam Adani to Sajjan
Mhm.
Jindal, Dalmias,
Mhm.
everyone I have met.
Mhm.
So in the beginning, I was taken aback because I was young. I was one of the youngest in the office, including the whole
Mhm.
council of ministers. There is no young officer on special duty. Usually, OSD's positions are given to people who are 40 plus of age.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I joined when I was 28, 29. So I
That
was
that
extremely
is
young.
crazy. I'm
Extremely,
very
and
proud of
people,
you for
yeah,
like at 28 being the officer on special duty to a minister is an achievement
it's
that
not
you
a joke.
can post for a lifetime.
You're absolutely right. And it was kind like people underestimate you, right? Like bacha kon, like they never thought that I am the OSD. They were like, who is sitting in
I
the
think
chair?
that was the time when you started to go to the gym, right?
Yeah.
To just like compensate your age.
Gym.
Tell us more about that.
So yeah, it was kind of in the beginning they used to underestimate because it's new, everything is new, you are a new face and new ministry, everything. But by the time it was 2020, like 2019, and I was a recognized face because ultimately it's your work which speaks. It is not you as character. They speak
Hmm.
okay, Arun Iyer, they understand on phone, but when they see face to face, they realize that okay, this is a young chap. So it
Hmm.
was kind of interesting to meet such kind of people, learn from them. The advantage of
Hmm.
being young is they treat you like your own. They are kid. So that even if you
Ah,
ask them silly questions, they explain you. They're like, "Nahi beta,
okay.
aisa nahi hai. It is like this. You please understand." They don't get pissed
But
off
you
or they
have to
tell this.
ask questions, right? You have to ask questions, however
Yeah,
silly
you have
and
to
stupid
interact.
you feel they are.
You have to interact, and they are also humans. Even though they are like their life is king size, but still they are also humans. When you ask them questions, they are extremely happy to
Hmm.
respond. So one thing what I learned is never hesitate. Like even if it's a big person, no matter how stupid the question is, they will always
Hmm.
appreciate it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So and we have met people from all walks of life. Like when I'm sitting in this chair, I have met from farmers to poor people, like people who are some crazy people. I don't know, like weird kind of. Some people have come and they tell like if you don't do my work, I will immolate myself before you. Such kind of threats. And then we meet such kind of industrialists. We meet big politicians.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it was kind of a mixed experience, very exciting. I'm sure that if people want to pursue a job in the government
Hmm.
sector, it is
Hmm.
extremely exciting, and they should go for it if you want a very exciting life, especially in
Got
the
it.
administrative service or foreign service. Such kind of
Got.
services are extremely enjoyable.
Hmm.
Like your whole life, you will enjoy because it will be very
A
dynamic.
learning experience also. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is how my work was being an OST
Okay.
to the minister.
Got it. So I want to ask, also touch upon, if you don't mind, what is the salary range for people, when they start to join government, like from LAMP to where you are, just like a range, so we have an idea that okay,
I will be very
what's the like
specific,
the,
right? My salary when I was LAM fellow was a fellowship. So when I joined as a fellow, my salary was around 13,000. I think 13,000 they used to pay per month as a
mm-hmm,
fellow. That was just stipend basically. It was not a salary for 11 months. Then after
mm-hmm,
that, when I joined the Lok Sabha, that is as senior private secretary, I joined with the pay of around 70,000.
mm-hmm,
And by the time it was 2019, my salary was 1.24 lakhs
mm-hmm.
approximately per month.
Okay, got
As
it.
soon as I joined the ministry, because I have years of experience now, I had
Mm-hmm,
4 years plus another two, three. My current
mm-hmm,
salary right now I'm seventh year. I'm in the seventh year. So
mm-hmm,
seventh year, my salary is around 2.4 lakhs per month. And
mm-hmm,
along with that, I have tons of benefits. Like it's hardly like
yeah,
I need to touch my salary for anything because I get a vehicle, I get a house, I get
mm-hmm,
servants to take care of the house, and
right,
utilities are subsidized. So it is like a very comfortable life. It's a very
got it.
comfortable life,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes you
So there
lazy
is
also
an
because it's comfort.
increment in the salary. It's not like you're going to be
Yes.
stagnant and you're not
No, no,
like
no.
growing at all. And so
No,
it's a
no. There
good,
is
very
increment.
comfortable life. And more importantly, I think it's also a very respectable life, right? Because
Yes.
everybody knows you and they value what
Mhm.
you're saying because of your
Yes.
position.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's a very it makes you completely comfortable. There is no doubt about
Hmm.
it. When it comes to
Hmm.
level of comfort, to such an extent that you can also become lazy. Like
Yeah.
the problem with Indian government governance or governance in general is that people tend to become cozy. because
Mm-hmm.
you are so cozy in this position that there is no incentive to perform, right? Because everything is time based promotions.
Yeah,
So irrespective
that's
you work
also
or you don't work, next year your salary will increase, your job is secure. So
Hmm.
this is kind of a very comfortable position, which I would say is that it's good for people who want stability, but people who look for something more
Growth.
exciting, they
Yeah.
would like to do it. So as you know,
Okay.
I shared you, I have 2 days
Yeah.
ago I resigned. I
Yeah.
resigned as officer on special duty to the minister. I am no longer OSD to the minister because I
Yep.
was getting too cozy. I have further professional aspirations in my mind. And
Mm-hmm.
also another thing what made me quit the services was that because
Pollution of Delhi.
I also want to do something, exciting for myself. All this while what I was doing is focus on work and work. And
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of getting stressful for me because I am such kind of person who cannot be quiet. So I wanted to do
Mm-hmm.
something. So
Yeah.
this has pushed me for a decision to do. I am planning to do something next. It is very exciting what I'm planning to do for myself. I will, if Nidhi gives me another chance, then I will explain what I'm planning to do. It is
Yeah.
like totally offbeat,
Yeah.
and it
Do
is
you
something
want
which
to
is
talk about it? Just in brief, where where you're heading and what you're going to be
okay.
doing.
So having language is always inside my heart because I'm a language student. I wanted to do Spanish after Russian, and the reason I had this drive in me since long time. Since long time, I wanted to do something, but I had no time to do it. There are some few things which I wanted to do. One is learn Spanish. One is learn how to dance. And number
Okay.
three, yeah, I wanted to learn how to dance also. And number three is learn swimming. So these are
Okay.
three things which I wanted to do, and I didn't have time for this. And another factor for me quitting is because I like to take care of my health. Uh, I like gymming. I like eating clean food, healthy
Yeah.
food.
So
I was
Arun wakes
exactly the
up
opposite.
every day at 4 a.m. in the morning
Yeah,
and
I woke
goes
up.
to the gym. And yeah,
Yes,
like he's super fit. Look at him.
yeah, I have quite. I'm quite fit. So yeah, I do like working out, and Delhi is not a very
Walking.
pleasant place if you are focusing on health. So this one.
Good.
So coming back to the other three things, what I want to do. So I'm planning to learn Spanish. So I'm planning to go to Ecuador. Ecuador is a small country in Latin America where they speak
Yeah.
Spanish. It
Other
takes
side of
24
the
hours.
world. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes 24 hours from here, like 24 hours straight to go. I have to go from here to Amsterdam, which is around 11 hours, and then 1 hour waiting, and then again I have to travel 11 hours.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
it's a kind of crazy thing what I'm planning to do, but this is something which I want to fulfill. There is another
Mhm.
place which I have applied for, and I'm waiting for the result soon. And if that clicks, then I will come again and tell you. I don't want
Yeah.
to say
Yeah.
it so
Yeah.
soon.
We don't want to jinx it now. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx it right now. But that is the next step. Like people who aspire to do something else in life other than government, there is another one more step. Once I
Yeah.
make it through, then I will come again and let you know that
Yeah,
how
I
to
will
get through that thing.
definitely bring Arun in the next year,
Yeah,
irrespective of whether he moved there or not. But because I would like love to hear the experience that he would gain in Ecuador. So he's just quitting everything that he had and he worked for at the age of 30 with absolutely not. I mean, he doesn't have like a job there, but I know that he has saved up enough. So these are all things that you need to do, so now he can pursue what he wants. He's moving to
correct.
Ecuador. He's going to learn languages. So I'm assuming you learn salsa as well there.
Yes.
And then he's going to learn swimming also. There are Galapagos. So before that, he went to Ecuador. See the
Yeah,
amount of passion he has. Okay, he went to Ecuador. He went around the country for how many days or
1 month.
months were you there?
I
You were
went
there
for
for
one month.
a month. Yeah, that
And
scouted the whole land.
Nidhi is the prime this one driver for it because she had been to Colombia and she was posting photos and I used to tell her like I want to do this. I want to do this once in my life too. Like I see her enjoying life plus working, and I see many friends doing that, right? Balancing both. They are balancing both their work and life. I was not doing
Mhm.
that. I was like digressing to more towards work and
Mhm.
forgetting because the job was making me too cozy. Like it's like such kind
Mhm.
of position which makes you too cozy for everything. And
Yeah.
I don't think I should be that kind of person who should be cozy at 30 and be, there is many
Yeah.
things to do in life.
there's more to
So
who you are, you know,
yes,
your
absolutely.
life is changing. So I'm so glad that you're there. Arun and I have always inspired each other. If there is one person that I know has changed his life for himself, that is Arun. I have seen him like a tapori, tapori, okay, is the word I will use, in St. Paul's.
Yeah,
And if you see his photos, he was like super thin, no muscle
mhm,
mass, nothing. And
nothing at all.
today it's like he's something else. Like, you know,
I had
I
all
am
the bad
very
habits in the
proud
world.
to know.
When I was
Is it
in
like,
college, I had all the bad habits in the world. So,
oh yeah,
if I don't know if the viewers are very young, but if they
they're
know
very
people
young.
who are from 2006 to 2012, they will know that who we were in Belgaum. Kind of
Oh yeah,
notorious
yeah,
that
yeah.
time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No
So yeah,
girl
it was a
would want to
great
be his
journey.
girlfriend. He was that bad.
I remember. It was terrible. But it was a good journey. It was a good journey. I learned a lot of things. The key takeaways, what I would like to give the viewers are: understand your strengths and weaknesses. Don't go by peer pressure, or don't go by pressure from your family or friends. If you see your marks card, you will know where you are good at. That is the first, I think, self assessment what you have. Be it
Mm-hmm.
anything in profession, I do not know, be it languages, or be it if you like painting, or maybe you like gymming, or you like something, just focus on that and be the best in that. So,
Nice. Yep.
and right now there is a lot of opportunities. No, and don't see only Belgaum centric. See India specific. You see South
World
Asia. Then you see world. You know, the
Yeah,
whole world is open for you. Just explore. You
absolutely.
have the internet now. During our time, it was difficult. Now, though, you have high
Mhm.
speed internet. You have YouTube.
Yeah,
You have people who motivate you.
yeah,
These things didn't exist for us. We didn't have that support to speak to
absolutely.
someone or share all this. Even if we share,
Mhm.
we were taunted
Yeah,
or we were laughed
yeah,
at.
yeah, yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
kind of tough. So
Okay.
I think Nidhi has
Yeah.
made a very great initiative of having this platform, because I'm sure that such kind of interactions, not only me but other personalities who come here, for sure they will be kind of an inspiration, because they come from diverse professions as well as backgrounds.
Absolutely. I would like
Mm.
the initiative originally started with Akshay Jain, and we have the same mindset, and that's why we are taking it forward. Thank you for
Mhm.
those wisdom words, Arun. So I will ask you one last question. What
Yeah.
would you advise your younger self?
To follow what I felt, to follow my gut feeling. I had this gut
Mm-hmm.
feeling, but I always used to ignore it. The day I
Mm-hmm.
started my following my gut feeling, I have become successful. So I think let success make the noise. Like if you're
Mm-hmm.
interested, you just know that how you have shaped yourself is enough for me. So understand
Beautiful.
yourself, understand what you want. Per se,
Mm-hmm.
don't follow someone else's footsteps. See what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Self-assess yourself. You have thousands of websites where you can get information right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Absolutely.
browse. Don't waste time in other things. Like I have wasted a lot of my youth, I would say. If I look back now, it is memorable because now I'm comfortable. But if I look at my friends and all, they are still not comfortable. People who had fun with me. So by
Mm-hmm.
God's grace, or I would say divine intervention, or because I had confidence in myself, I shaped a different course. If I would have continued the same thing what I was doing when Nidhi saw me at school, I would have still been in Belgaum, basically a nobody. So
Yeah.
don't take that as motivation and all. Just follow what you want and then achieve. That is what I would say.
Absolutely. So, do we have
And
any questions from the audience? I'm not sure how you would ask these questions, right? Because probably it would be
mhm.
through a chat. But please take this opportunity to ask questions, because you're not going to get a profile like Arun, who's who's a officer who was an officer to special duty, to a minister in the parliament. So please take this opportunity to talk to him, because I know I have a lot of students who are very interested in learning languages and exploring different cultures, but again, due to peer pressure, they feel like if they don't study AI, or they're not studying computer science, then they're not going to do anything in life. But
Mhm.
we often forget that what we are is always going to be something that you can never take away from you.
Absolutely, that's true.
And new comments will display here. I'm just waiting for questions. Generally on Instagram, people do ask questions. I'm
Okay,
not
Nidhi.
sure here
It's okay.
if
They can drop. If anyone has
yeah,
anything to say, they can always write an email to me,
yeah.
and I will be responding them via email, because right now after this I will be traveling quite a while plus different timings. So I think email will be a good medium to
Mm-hmm.
answer.
Do you want to give out your email?
Yeah, sure. Should I write it in the chat or how?
Yeah, you can write it in chat or you can also say it however you feel like. You can
Okay,
put it
if
in
I
the chat.
chat, let me see.
Okay,
No, I think
nobody
I
has
just spell it out. It's
yeah.
AARUNOK.IYER@gmail.com. So that is Arunok dot Iyer, ARUNOK dot IYER@gmail.com. So feel free. You can write whatever you want. My life is a mixed bag, so I will try to
Yeah.
advise the best way possible, because as far as I look back, I have done everything. That is what I feel. I have put
Yeah.
my hands into everything, and I have experienced life in both extremes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and it is not
Yeah.
complete. Even after all this, even look at me. I'm still trying to find a balance. It is not like I'm
Hmm.
so comfortable, because even though I had everything in life, but there is still something which
There's
I'm not
always
finding an
more to us.
equilibrium. Yes,
Yeah.
there is always
There's
more.
always more to us. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
So
My email has come. That is my email. Right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, Arun, thank you so much for your time and thanks
Thank you,
everyone for
Nidhi.
joining us here. I hope
Mhm.
that Arun's journey has inspired you. And the takeaway from this, I would say, is that determination triumphs. Because
Mhm.
if Arun had anything, it was a determination and focus that has taken him here. So feel free to reach out to that email or me, and I can put you in touch with him. And we will
Mm.
bring Arun hopefully the next year or sometime again soon to give a different update. All right.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Bye,
Thank you.
Arun. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Yeah. Bye, guys.